Yeah, man, great point. A couple of things to unpack there. I've just written a couple of things down. We'll come back to discipline in a moment, but let's talk about those 8 pillars. Instead of those 8 pillars, do you have your own pillars that you kind of look at within, your essentially wheel of life?
Well, look, I don't have anything that I have, say, written up on a board that or any particular. I've got a mantra, but it doesn't really focus around pillars per se. Um, and I just, for me, I really do work well within structure. And I can adapt quite well to changing circumstances. Life's forever changing. And I guess I'm someone who plans well ahead. You look at my calendar, it's just like dot point, dot point, dot point, dot point. Lunchtime, dot point, dot point, dot point, and I'm just going through ticking away. And that's a really good way for me to do things. And everyone else works differently. I understand that, but that's my capacity. You tell me to do something, I'll go and do it. And I have to be someone who has to be very disciplined with time management. Particularly if you're self-employed and if you're working from home or you have multiple things happening at once. It's so easy to disperse yourself and dilute your energy and attention to things, and then get backlogged, and you're spinning your wheels and getting nowhere. So that took me a long time I understood the concept, but to action it was something that I took some time. So whether would go day by day, like Monday, I'm focusing on X, B, I focus on X, and then you go to Monday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday, depending on if you are working 7 days a week, which is not a rare thing. But that gave you that extreme focus to get everything done. And of course, you might take an email here and a phone call here, and of course, things change. Not to be, I guess, married up to. That's another point. I know I'm going a bit of a rant, but create a plan, but not to be married to that plan. Understand that there will be circumstances not of your choosing, or things will happen that you need to be able to counteract and engage with for the ultimate outcome. So just be ready to pivot, which I think everyone learned in 2020 as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, I want to tie discipline into that because you did mention that before.
Yeah.
Obviously, guys like us that have been training for a long time. Again, I've been training for 20 years for rugby and in the gym, et cetera, et cetera. And, that month or both times where I got injured within the last 6 months and I had that month off, I had to change my mindset. And it took me a lot of discipline. It takes me more discipline to not train than it does to train, because training is something that is so ingrained for me. And I've connected the dots with how it makes me feel and the results that I get from it. I'm not training to burn energy. I'm not training to, build a heap of muscle. That is a byproduct of it. And there's going to be times in my life where, I'm really fucking dialed in with my training. I'm dialed in with my nutrition. I'm focused on, making gains, but I'm not spending all of my time there. I might spend, maybe a month, 2, 3 months in that gain mentality where, I'm counting my macros, I'm counting my calories, I'm rationing my food, I'm breaking my food down at different times of the day for depending on what I'm doing. I'm really dialed in with my sleep and my hydration and training and all that type of stuff. But for the most part, I'm spending 6 to 8 months of the year in kind of a maintain phase where I'm training because it makes me feel good, and I'm not trying to maximize anything. I'm just kind of like keeping myself in this general physical preparation phase where I'm essentially able to live the life that I want without, any restrictions. And we'll talk about this in a moment for you as well. We'll relate this to the thing that you said was it the Search for Hurt program?
Yeah.
We'll come back to that in a moment, man. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a moment. But before we do that, I want to talk about your discipline in regards to your time management. You're obviously a very busy man. You've got a lot of stuff going on. You're working on a heap of projects, and you spoke about diluting your energy and your resources. And I'm the same, man. Like I'm very disciplined. I'm very structured. I've got the night before, like I'll go to bed, and before I go to bed, I'll write out my schedule for the next day. And then I'll check that off in the morning, and I'm like, cool, this is what I need to get done. These are the things that I want to get done. I'll list them in order of priority. So if I do the first 2 things and I miss the third, that's fine. That gets pushed to the next day. But then there's actually going to be some free time where I'm like, cool, I'm going to go and eat food here and listen to a podcast, or I'm going to go and do some meditation. I'm just going to go and lay by my pool and get some sunshine and things like that. And for me, like, that discipline gives me freedom. When you have so much stuff going on, so many projects you're working on, you need to be disciplined with your time. You need to manage your time as efficiently as possible so that you can be productive, man, because there's a massive difference between being productive and being busy. And that comes down to prioritizing what the most important things are, what you need to get done that day, and then what you want to get done that day. Can you talk to me about your process with your time management and some of the tools that you use to get the most out of every single day?
Yeah, look, for a long time, 9 a.m. was my start to the day. So I would get up at 5 a.m. and that gives me even sometimes 4:30, 5:30, and that would give me 3.5 to 4 hours of getting my time, everything I wanted to get done for the day. So if I wanted to be disciplined in maintaining that consistency across the board with my training, meeting up with somebody, maybe going for a walk with my wife after my own training, I could condense that in that period. And that would also set aside any of the jitters or that you may have going, oh, how am I going to fit my training in? I know I've programmed it in for 3:30 p.m. But however, like, these things just keep accumulating. So for me, I like to get it all done first thing in the morning, and I operate quite well first thing in the morning as well. Like you, I have a list, and you have my priorities at the top, and then I have my bonus items at the bottom, and they're all right to be pushing back. So that doesn't build any anxiety. And I have this calendar in my phone that sometimes I remember something, jot it down, and then I can just review it that evening and plan it for the next day. So I function well like that. Working from home is something that can be very difficult. Like I had to learn how to separate my private life and my work life. Otherwise, I'm sitting there on my laptop and I'm meant to be sitting next to my wife, or I'm at dinner and all I can think about is work. I walk into the lounge room and all of a sudden I'm just thinking about work. So if I can either have an office space to kind of keep everything separate, that's where I found great productivity, because you're not bleeding yourself across multiple things. Not trying to have a conversation with someone, not trying to watch a television program with your family, and also trying to do work at the same time. So I think if you're able to segregate that, that's a huge win. And then also obviously just future planning and having some fail safes. Like, okay, well, what are you going to do when this doesn't happen? Have you given yourself extra time? Have you given yourself enough allowance in time? And being able to have that really kind of precise time management is huge for me, because like you said, I've got multiple things going on, got to wear multiple hats and try and do it all at once. I'm just drowning in workload.